All right, so it's live now.
It's
So
live?
yeah,
Okay.
woo. It's been
What
a
a
long
week.
time coming, Dave.
It's been a long time
Everything black on.
coming. Yes.
Yes, Lord.
I'm
All right.
ready.
Pretty sure the camera angle's great. This camera does my good.
It do. Which one is this? This the ginger saffron. Oh, this the ginger saffron.
Yeah,
I've heard good things about this
that's good.
one. What's up with you?
How you doing?
I'm good.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I think we done took care of all the pre-show banter.
Yeah.
Once I say it's your feelings, get the baggers, that's the mission. Get this body nice and chiseled, then it's over for you. Over. Once I get up out my mental, drink my water, clear my skin to keep your out my business, then it's over for you. Over for you. I been on my big bash, just getting my life. I've been grinding like somebody got my back against a knife. Swear it's always somebody waiting for you to fall. Stick your in the air and tell them to kiss it all, then twerk some. Then praise God for balance. Post kicked out if they want it. I just hope they like the challenge. People smile when they struggle. You just don't know what they go through. By the time that you notice, they claiming wins cause it's over. Once I say it's your feelings, get the baggers, that's the mission. Get this body nice and chiseled, then it's over for you. Over. Once I get up out my mental, drink my water, clear my skin to keep your out my business, then it's over for you. Over. Once I say it's your feelings, get the baggers, that's the mission. Get this body nice and chiseled, then it's over for you. Over. Once I get up out my mental, drink my water, clear my skin.
Welcome back to Everything Black Owned. I'm your man Scooter. Today we have an extraordinary guest. I'm talking about multifaceted business serialpreneur. Is that a word?
Serialpreneur. It'll be the word today.
That's the word today.
Yeah.
I'm talking about frequent flyer, miles sky high, pun intended. I'm gonna let you do it. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey y'all, I'm so happy to be here. First off, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here.
I'm Navi. I'm the founder and organizer of RVA Black Farmers Market, co-owner of NM Legacy Marketing, mommy full time, also artist sometimes too.
Come on.
So many different things. So many different things. Absolutely love it. It's a lot. I was just talking about balance and how I do all of these things. And it really just comes with having dope people around you.
Yeah.
And, just people to keep you grounded. And, because sometimes it's a lot, but it's all beautiful.
I love that.
All
Well, can we start at the beginning?
Sure.
What started this entrepreneurial journey? How did you get started?
Goodness.
How did you get involved with all that you are involved with?
Well, so my first little spout of entrepreneurship, sorry, my knuckles are cracking, actually comes from my mother. So my mom is also an entrepreneur. She got her background in entrepreneurship and accounting. That's what she started in. And when I was coming up, my parents had two brick and mortars, two wine stores, and I grew up in the back of the stores. And I kind of just saw them, put things together. I saw them come up with many ideas, many projects, and things of that nature, and just execute, and do them. And that gave me, that firsthand look and experience of just following through with your ideas,
right.
Actually making them, come to life, whether they stick or not.
Right.
And so actually my first thing of entrepreneurship, I guess, I was 10 years old, and my mama taught me how to sew by hand, and I started sewing pillows. She taught me, like, we would go to what was Ben Franklin back then, go to Ben Franklin and get felt and all the stuff. And she taught me how to sew and stuff with actual stuff in and sew it back up. And my great aunt, she had a salon, and I would go in the salon and like sell pillows.
Okay.
So I was 10 years old selling pillows out the salon. And she, my great aunt, she gave me a little book, taught me how to track my, like my costs and all the other stuff,
Okay.
just taught me how to get the money right, how to track my sales and all that stuff. And that was a short-lived business. That probably was only maybe like 6 months. I was 10. I was like 10 or 11.
But you learned a lot.
But I did. I learned a lot. And that was like my first little experience in, starting a business.
Love that.
And then everything kind of just came with time. So as far as like the farmers market, I started that in the pandemic, smack dab in the pandemic. Like I got the idea in my mom's garden, just grounded. I've walked barefoot in the grass all the time.
Okay.
So I was outside just walking barefoot in the grass, and I'm a firm believer of being obedient with what
Yeah,
Spirit
yeah.
tells you to do.
Yeah, yeah.
So God was like, there needs to be a Black farmers market in the city. And I noticed at that time when, during the pandemic, when, we were growing our garden in the yard, a lot of other Black people were also going back to the land
Mm-hmm.
and, gardening. And it was just from one, we were all at home, we
Right,
had,
right,
had nothing but time. And then, the stores were closing early and all this other stuff.
right.
So, we were starting to relearn self sufficiency. And I wanted to celebrate that. I wanted a place where us Black folk come together and take care of each other, by way of food, seed exchanges, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And also I wanted to create some type of barter system, too, within our community.
Gotcha.
And that's just how it came about, and I told my mom this is what I wanted to do.
Right.
And all I knew, I didn't know anything about, putting a market together or anything like that. All I knew was I need to get some produce vendors out here, folks, who have food products, and just to put them in the space.
Mm-hmm.
um and I knew I needed the space, so that's the thing,
Right.
about starting things. A lot of times, to get it out of your brain, you just got to do that first thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew before I can get vendors or produce vendors, farmers, I needed location. I needed to tell some people where to go.
Right.
um and at the time, my mother was doing a podcast, and she was on a podcast with a gentleman who owned a church, who was pastor. And he came over the same day I had the idea. Like, this was all like a 1 day thing.
Okay.
Came over that day, and I said, hey, um, I want to use your church. I would like to use your church as, a space to do a farmer's market. And he was like, absolutely. And so that's how it came about, and, I put it out there. And because I do have a marketing background, I knew, to just immediately blast it on social media. I immediately did a press release,
Mm-hmm.
immediately did all these things. It happened so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Scooter, it happened so fast. And, things just kind of blew up really quickly, with the market. And we've had our ebbs and flows. We had our ups and downs. We had our super high seasons. We had our super low seasons. We've grown. We've grown in from having no produce vendors to seven, at a time. We've grown to be, more of a maker's market to now a straight farmers market with,
Yeah.
food and produce,
Yeah.
So, you go with the ebbs and flows of your business. You don't give up when it's hard. And, you know, that's something I struggle with because I was having a hard time when things, were low, and as far as the market goes. But you keep going. You
Mm-hmm.
keep going, you stay consistent, you keep going with the dream, and you make it happen for others, and that's the space we are in at the market now. Speaking of which, um, the market hits off June 8th, second and fourth Sundays
Second
at
and fourth.
Shalom Farms.
Okay.
Um, 1311 Westwood Avenue, 11 to 3. We're also having a spring pop up at Stony Point Mall on May 31st,
Okay.
which I'm really excited about.
Okay.
Bring your kids, bring your family, bring everybody. Bring everybody out here because we're going to have a good time.
Absolutely.
That's just a little spring celebration to kick off
Love
the
that.
market season.
Love that.
But we got some good things coming with the market season, this year. We got, of course, our food demonstrations are coming back.
Yep.
And then we're gonna have herbalist workshops on
Okay.
on the fourth Sundays. So it grows. I say that to say, the market started off from, just being at this church to now on the farm with all of these different, aspects
The
to
other
it.
spot in between.
Yes, it grew. It grew.
Yeah.
It grew. It grew into something lovely, and I'm just so proud. I'm proud of the market. I'm proud of the vendors, and how far they've come. It's the best thing in the world to see the vendors beyond the market.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I go to a store, a local store, and I see them on the shelf, I'm just so proud. I'm like, yo, they started at the market, like they were here, and now like they're like big time,
Well,
So growth is real.
Let me take a moment, because us in the community, we're proud of you.
Thank you.
A lot of this, especially the farmers market, like a lot of meetings have happened between folks because of the farmers markets. A lot of opportunities have jumped off because of the farmers markets. Like without your vision and without your drive, a lot of that wouldn't even happen. So we thank you and we're proud of you for all that you put on.
Thank you, Scooter.
Okay.
It's just a lot. I love that too. Because that's why I like our tagline is, well, we take care of each other. It's bigger than food. It is about the connections, and about, you guys, connected with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to grow from your own relationships that y'all make at the
Right.
market. It's my favorite thing. I love to see the residual, effects
Yeah.
of it. And even because that wasn't even, I don't want to say it wasn't my intention, but it wasn't my intention. I didn't realize when God told me to do this market in the
Ooh.
garden that it was to be a blessing for so many
Mm.
people, in the city. Again, I just did what I was told.
That's real.
That's it. I just did what I was told.
Yeah.
And now I got this big old family,
Yeah.
and we all just love and support each other.
So let me ask you, think you was ready?
Hmm.
Was you ready?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't. No, I was not ready.
Mm.
Because I didn't know it would grow. First off, in the beginning, it grew fast, like blew up, especially in the pandemic, where we had to social distance and
Right.
we couldn't really go anywhere. So like a lot of that in the beginning of the market was people just needed something to do that was outside, that was kind of safe,
Right.
from the germs, and I can honestly say praise God during the pandemic. We didn't have anybody, get diagnosed with COVID from the market in
Right.
attending. So praise God. But people, it blew up so big because people were looking for things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Also it was time around George Floyd, passing. So a lot of folks were, just in the sense of community.
Right.
So
Very sensitive time.
right, so that came with that, it came just with that resilience and just us wanting to just come together,
Mm-hmm.
and it became that space. So it blew up really fast. I say all that to say it grew quickly. And then of course as the world opened back up, after the pandemic, things started slowing down. But now we're in a very similar climate, than we were back in 2020,
Yeah.
and so that it reminds me that you gotta keep going, because even when things don't seem like it's supposed to, the reasoning behind the market is for where we are right now. The
Mm-hmm.
reasoning, that resilience, that community, taking care of each other, just like we needed it then, we need it
Right.
again right now,
Right.
except we don't need to stray from it.
Right.
Like we said, we tend to stray from the togetherness when everything seems normal. We got to stay together even when everything is, in a different, feels a little bit
That's
better.
real.
We have to stay together,
That's real.
And so, yeah, I was not ready. I wasn't. I had no, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I'm in a market certification course right now, so I could be a certified, farmers market
Oh.
manager, so I'm learning. Every year I'm learning. Every year we're growing. I try to send my vendors, opportunities, things like that, so
Right.
they can continue to grow and
Right.
expand, their market beyond the farmers market.
Okay.
So I'm learning. It's and it almost felt a little lonely, because I don't, have a lot of people who own a farmers market. I'm still getting in the community of, being, a market manager and
Right.
learning from other market managers and things like that. But no, I wasn't ready. And I'm still learning, still learning how not ready I am, 5 years in.
The journey is
So
still so beautiful though. Like just from the outside looking in, it's so beautiful. As ready as unready as you felt, to see how much you actually do, like it's really beautiful to see
thank
from the
you.
outside. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
dope. So let me ask you, you spoke about your low moments and how you navigate those. So I guess kind of a two-part question. How do you navigate those, and what other um adversities have you had to come along your business journey?
Um, a lot of prayer, first off, a lot of prayer, because it can, sometimes things can be really discouraging,
Mm-hmm.
and it really, really does make you, want to not do things anymore. But what really helped me is my village, the heavy on my village, the people around me, um, you know, people like you and people and vendors at the market who are constantly telling me, even on a bad day, they did well. I did good. This is awesome. They keep me motivated.
Mm-hmm.
To keep on going. Um, and just knowing that the vision isn't exactly where I wanted to be yet. That's another thing that keeps me going. I don't want to ever give up on something that didn't reach its full potential.
Right.
And so that's the humbling part of it, right? To start off so high and to deal with the lows. But you just prayer and leaning on my village and just having that tunnel vision to say, okay, this might be what it is right now, but this is where I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna keep going until we get it to where I want it to be. And
Okay.
so just that resilience in it, and that's why we celebrate, the resiliency. We keep
Absolutely.
going regardless of what happens.
Absolutely.
And that's really it. I've had to. Another my thing is I had to ask for help. I had to ask for help. I had to, use my resources and use my connections. And for me, that's hard to do. It's very hard for me to ask for help and actually use it, to when people are offering me help to say yes, I do need help. A lot of times when I say yes, even if I say yes, sometimes I don't even know what I need help
Right.
with,
Right.
so
That's
it's
real.
like,
That's
yeah,
real.
I need help, but I don't know what to tell you, to do, so organizing the things that I know I need,
Mm-hmm.
and realizing, okay, I can have some hands to help me, and leaning on the people who want to.
Yeah.
That's been
Call us anytime.
yes.
Anytime. We coming.
Listen, and I'm grateful, because I didn't, and also it's a me thing, it's a having to feel like I gotta do it all of myself,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes working with being able to trust others,
Right.
so that they can know, okay, this is how it goes, and trust others to be able to follow through,
Right.
But once I got over that, it was easier for me to say, okay, I know this person can do this. I know this person can
Right.
do this. Like for example, right now with the market, they don't know it yet, but I got some people in mind.
Breaking news.
Just go, no. It's
Oh,
not gonna
okay.
be breaking. No. This gonna have to be email. This is
Okay.
an email thing. But I have some people that I really do want to build a solid team around the market. I've been a one woman show with the market, since we started, and just in going through classes and things like
Right.
that. And also now having more of a seamless process with the market.
Yeah.
Now I can say, okay, I know I need this and I need this
Right.
and this. So now that I have my marching orders for myself, I can, and I know enough people to say they will be good doing this,
Mm-hmm.
and they will be good to do this. Now I have something to ask,
Love that.
and so now I want to build a team, actually around the market, and we grow from there. And one that takes the toll off of myself,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, and allows be able to free myself of other
Mm-hmm.
responsibilities so that I can do what else needs to be done, or move up to the next level, or what have you. So leaning on your village is very, very strong.
Powerful.
How we get through adversity.
Powerful. All right. So we have this segment where it's our breaking point segment. So it's gonna get a little personal for you. It's what is that moment in life along your business journey, right?
Mm.
So that moment in life where, you know, felt like the world was falling apart. You was at your wits end with it, but then something happened that became a breakthrough. So you went from breaking point to breakthrough.
Mm.
What was that for you?
Um, you know what, Scooter? I've had a few of those moments, but I'm not entirely sure. I've had the fall down moment and the get back up moment, but I don't know if I have yet had the breakthrough moment, if that
Okay.
makes sense. But I can say, one time I was, well, two moments.
Okay.
Two moments. The first moment is when I did the farmers market on the very first day.
Mm.
Very first day, it rained, and I mean poured, not like no cute little rain. I mean pouring, like it rained. I had all these volunteers standing in front of me. I'm a nervous wreck because I'm like, one, is pouring. Who's even coming to this market today? And two, how do I tell all these? I don't even know what to tell all these volunteers what to do. Like it was, I had no sense of how to even make this thing work today. Because one, I'm trying not to cry because it's pouring down raining. Two, I don't even know what to tell you guys to do because nobody's here yet. It
Right.
was so much. But on that day, the vendors came, they set up, people still came and
Yeah.
sold out every vendor there
Love
in that pouring down rain. So that was a moment that I was down, and then after I saw that everybody still did well,
Mm-hmm.
I that was the breakthrough. The breakthrough was I can do this. People are still going to come out and support, the vendors even in
Right.
the rain. I can lead these people. That was my moment of truth, on the very first day. So much so that I did another market the next week just to thank them. I don't even think I charged anybody. Or the returning vendors. I don't think I charged the returning vendors, but I did think I opened it up to the public and let other people come.
Right.
But that next one,
Right. Loaded.
you couldn't tell us nothing. Like people were out there in droves, like, and it was in the West End, the real West End, in the West, in the West End,
Yeah. Yeah.
where it's real tight. It
Right.
ain't a whole lot of parking. Like it was crazy. Like the people in the neighborhood was probably mad as I don't know what, but it was
Mm.
packed at that church. People would line up at the gate. I had temperature checks at the gate back then because
Yeah.
COVID, but
Still COVID.
people would line up at the gate that next day. And it really changed how I saw um obstacles, like things like rain don't stop me anymore because of that day.
Mm.
So or proverbial storms or what have
Right.
you.
Right. Right.
They don't stop me. I keep going because I know people are still coming. People are still coming. You gotta show up regardless.
Right.
And then another breakthrough
Mm. That's
um
good.
moment where I felt like I was really down. um well, let me say this before I tell that story, and remind me if I start talking too much and forget. But also, when I started the market, a few months later, I found that I was pregnant with my son. And so I had these two new babies. I had the farmer's market, that I called my first child,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then my son.
Yeah.
So who's the market baby? Everybody know my sire. Um, but he, really changed things for me. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a single parent, so having to, run this market and learn how to be a parent,
Right.
at the same time. Not saying I didn't know how to take care of a baby or nothing, but I've done that. I got two little brothers, so I've taken care of some babies.
Right.
But being a parent is so different, So I had to learn that. I had to go through postpartum depression and all that stuff, as I'm building this market,
Right.
continuing to show up even in the pitfalls. I say that because the next season after the first one didn't do as well as the first season. Well, in that location. Um, and then I think about the fourth season didn't do as well as the other seasons, So having having I don't want to say bad seasons because
Mm-hmm.
that's not the thing, but having a season that didn't do as well and going through postpartum depression,
Right.
trying to still get my identity back, trying to figure out who I am as a mother and as a person and as a business owner. All of that stuff is so taxing. Going through like real life stuff,
Right.
like moving, still having to work, a regular job, things like that. All that stuff is so taxing, when trying to do it all. And one market day, I pulled up and I was waiting on everybody to come, and get set up. And I was just in the car, just crying, like just crying, because I was like, oh my God, have I failed? Like I don't have as many vendors as I used to have, things like that. Like, did I fail? And that day it rained too. That day it rained. And I think I had about 5 vendors set up, and then one food truck. We were in Jackson Ward. And
Mm-hmm.
so talking to Francis, shout out to Coco Jen. I was talking to Francis and I was telling her, how about, how I feel, but I was like, but I'm here, I don't know how the market's gonna be today, but I'm here. We showing up. We gonna be out here today.
Right.
And Francis's spirit, she's very, very vibrant and
Yeah.
things like that. So she's easily gonna uplift you.
Sure.
But that day, somebody came to the market. I think somebody came to the market, and it was supported all the vendors. You know what it was? It was Kim and Mary from VAFMA, from Virginia Farmers Market Association. They had come to the market that day, and I was telling them, I was like, it's a smaller market today, and they were so encouraging. They was like, but this is a farmers market.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly how it's supposed to be. Like this is all food, and this is how it's supposed to be. You
Right.
got some produce vendors here, And that really helped me, that uplifted me in that day. Like they didn't know I was crying in the car that morning, but that really helped me and kind of put me on the streamline of, okay, this is the market that we're building. It needs to be food, like food, dominantly produce. I want this to be as authentic of a farmer's market as it can possibly be. And from there, that's when I, switched everything up a little bit, opened it to more, food centric, vendors. And now you got the one in Shalom Farms that everybody loves.
Everybody.
Yes.
Everybody.
So we keep going. Like we lean on the village. That was a breakthrough. That was the breakthrough of me, going through the am I failing to, realizing, no, this is exactly where I need to be. This is exactly what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Now do that. Now build on that, and voila.
Here we are.
Yeah. So I guess I do have a breakthrough moment.
You have one.
Yeah.
You got a couple of them.
Yeah. And we still keep you have breakthrough moments all the time. It's like healing. It does not stop. You just continue. You continue to grow, you continue to heal. It's a journey. And the farmers market has become a part of my healing journey. Discovering who I am, with learning how to do this market, discovering, do I really got the grit, am I really, because now people depend on me. Now people depend on the market. I remember during the pandemic, one of the vendors came to me, was like, this is all I'm gonna do. This is all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna be a vendor, because they weren't, people were laid off at their jobs.
Right.
So becoming a vendor consistently became a good main source of income for people.
Absolutely.
And I love being able to say that, for us, especially. I love it.
Yeah.
So it's like I gotta do this, So the breakthroughs continue.
Let me ask you this. What's something you're most proud of?
Something I'm most proud of.
Because you have your hands on a lot. you affect and impact a lot of families, a lot of folks. Something you're most proud
of. Goodness, that's a loaded question.
Let it be.
I think I'm most proud of not giving up. Not giving up. Just being able to keep going. Despite all the things that have been stacked against me.
Right.
Like just being able to keep showing up. I'm also incredibly proud of my vendors, my business partner, Markia. I'm proud of all of them because they have also, grown and have done, the things, grown in confidence, grown in, in all these things. And I don't like to be the one like that's like, I did this and helped them do that. I'm not like that. It's just the observation of seeing, when, we put all these things on the table, they were able to find themselves, in a way. And I'm proud of them, for doing that, for, taking pinches off this little idea and being able to flourish in their own spaces. So I'm proud of them. I'm proud of my village.
Shout out to the village.
Shout out to the village. Major shout out to the village, especially the village who helped me with my baby. Shout out to them too. Please, thank y'all. But I'm proud of that. I'm proud of how far we've come, and what seems like so little time, like things happen so fast, time has flown. Like with Marquia and I, it's been 3 years for NM Legacy. The market is 5 years, so it's like, how did this happen so quickly? But that's what I'm most proud of. Saying that I didn't stop even when I really wanted to. Seeing the growth of others, through all of it, that's what I'm most proud of, and also me being able to stay consistent and keep going in the other things outside of the market and NM Legacy and just all the businesses, that I do. So like, for example, I'm also in grad school right now, full-time student. And I don't know how I picked up this little when I decided to go back to school just on a whim last summer. I was talking to a then friend of mine, and he's like, "That's very ambitious of you." I'm like, "I know. I'm gonna work it out though." And I'm working it out. You
You
know,
are.
it's all
You are
happening.
doing it.
Yeah, thank you.
You are doing it.
Thank you. So I'm proud. That's what I'm proud of. Like all of that, and then learning balance
Mm.
because that was a hard lesson for me to learn.
Give us the lesson.
Listen, I'm still learning, y'all. I'm still learning, you know. But I can tell you, time management is key.
Okay.
Time management is key. I am working on that. I'm working on that. Like the time management part is
Gotcha.
real, you know. But being able to say, okay, you know, today I'm working on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday I'm working on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Wednesday I'm working on this thing. Thursday I'm going back to what I was doing on Monday. You know, just being able to really just divide the time up.
Gotcha.
Another thing I'm proud of is being able to do all this and still be a present mom.
Ooh.
Like, still being a present parent is so important in the midst of doing all of this. I was talking to a family member years ago before all of this stuff was a thing. So I've always known that I was going to be busy. Scooter. I've always known I was going to be busy. I just didn't know what I was going to be busy doing. But but I knew I was going to have a whole lot of stuff to do.
Right.
And I was talking to a family member, and we were talking about kids. I think I was like in my mid-20s at the time. We were talking about having kids. And she was like, "Well, I don't want to be really busy, you know, when I have a kid, because then I'm not going to have time for my kid." And I was like, "Well," I was like, "I don't know if that's all the way true, you know?" And I wasn't out here trying to prove a point or nothing, you know, but it was like I didn't want to feel like I'm doing so much I don't have time to spend with my son.
Gotcha.
And so I also make time for that. You know, I make time to give my son my undivided attention, you know, so he can know like mommy's not going to neglect you because I got stuff to do. There will be times where I cannot give you my undivided attention, you know, and, you know, he's almost 4. So he's learning, okay, mommy's on the Zoom, you know, like right now, he's finally got out the stage where he don't have to talk to everybody I'm on a Zoom meeting with anymore. Normally he see me on the computer and he feel like he has to introduce himself to everybody. The other day I was in class, which is hybrid. Sometimes I go in person, sometimes it's online. And you know, we on the Zoom. I forgot to turn off my mic. He in the background singing. Somebody on the Zoom was like, somebody's kid is in the background singing. I'm like, oh, that's my kid. I'm sorry. You know, so it's like he's finally getting to a point where he's like doesn't have to wave, you know, to the camera. But that's why I make sure I'm focused on making sure he gets the time he needs with me too.
Right.
You know, and knows that, you know, mommy still loves you, but I got stuff to do. Like, or this is our time, you know, together. I'm not thinking about work. My phone is over there. My laptop is closed. It's me and my kids.
That's incredible.
You know, and so that's another thing. You know, making sure me being able to balance motherhood and all the things. I'm definitely proud of how I've been able to manage it. And you know, I grew up with an entrepreneur mom. I went as a kid. My son is kind of doing the same things that I was doing as a kid in the sense of I had to go to meetings with my mom. You know, in between my extracurriculars and stuff, I had to go to meetings. I had to sit quietly. I had to to do things. I had to, you know, go to volunteer events, things that she's coordinated. I had to be there. She used to be on a board for University of Virginia. She went to University of Virginia for undergrad, but she was on the board, the Really board, which is where they raise money to give a Black student scholarships to UVA. And so they would meet and they would have to, of course, stuff envelopes to invite people to the gala because it was the whole thing.
Right.
I would have to go with her to stuff envelopes, you know. So I was very much with my mom, you know, when she was doing all these things. In the brick and mortar that my parents owned, I was in the back of the wine store. I couldn't, you know, drink wine, of course, at the time. I was very much a teenager. But when your parents have just a little ABC tidbit for y'all. If your parents has the ABC license, you can work in the store. You can't drink, but you can work there. So, so I had little shifts. You know, I would work the register. I would count the inventory, wash the glasses, you know, stuff like that. So I came up having to adjust to entrepreneurship lifestyle. And so my son is gonna have to do the same thing.
Have to do the same thing.
You know, he's gonna have to do the same exact thing and be okay with it. And he is, because he's the market baby.
Yeah.
You know, when he comes to the market, it's so funny because after I kind of just popped out pregnant. the next year because the first year I had it was the winter time, so I had on my big coat so you couldn't see, and then Vernon opened it. But I did though, Vernon, and so I had on this big coat in the winter so you couldn't see my belly. But then the next season it's summer, so I ain't got on no big old coat, and I'm like big old belly baby, and everybody's like, what? Like what happened? But and so everybody at the market kind of grew up with my, the market grew with my baby. So he's the market kid, and I bring him to the market. He run around.
He be free.
He's free.
He be free.
And so he's very much adjusting to, okay, this is what we do. In the summer he knows. Is
Right.
it we going to the market today? He knows. He's ready. He's getting used to it. And so we're gonna have like that similar life. I'm dedicating the time. I'm proud of how I do it. But he also has to adjust. And he's gonna learn on his own. I could see him having his own businesses.
For sure. I don't even know if he has a choice.
I don't know if he does. Because I don't want to be, I do say I want to build a legacy for Sire, and I want him in there at the market and all that stuff. But if he don't want to do that, I just want him to have the skill set.
Right.
I want him to have the skill set to know that he can do whatever it is that he wants to do. And just be able to have those resources to do it.
Right.
And then to know how. I want him to know how, and from that he's going to flourish.
Okay. That's dope. That's really dope.
Oh, I'm not too worried because I feel like I'm talking a lot.
That's dope. That's dope. I do want to get into the NM legacy.
Yes.
So we haven't got to speak about that yet.
Yes.
That's another one of your companies that you do.
Yes.
You co-found.
Yeah. So I wish Markia was here.
Yeah.
But if y'all know me, you know Markia. We are at Navi and Markia and Legacy Marketing with an I. Gotta get that right.
With an I.
And so we've been together doing social media management for 3 years now. We celebrated our 3rd year anniversary on February 22nd of this year. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And we got started. Well, one, I met Markia at the farmers market. She was one of the volunteers, and we've been friends ever since. And we went to brunch one day, and we discovered that we were doing social media for smaller companies on our own. Because prior to the market, I was Beauty Writer Press. It's just me running the social media firm, doing socials for small businesses around the city. So we discovered that we were doing the same thing, and we were like, let's do it together. Let's have a Black woman-owned firm. Let's do this together. And so and we started, and we've been going up ever since. We've worked with authors as far as the DMV. We've worked with nonprofits, the Trauma Healing Response Network. We've worked with the Virginia Farmers Market Association. Done a couple workshops with them. We've also done a workshop with Womb DC. We've been all over the place, but we've just been growing, and we specialize in social media strategy, content creation, analytics, things like that. And we love it. We love what we do. We love being in the education space and being able to really teach small businesses how to grow their social, how to maintain. And we also like to take the burden off of other business owners. The social media is a job in itself. Yeah, making the content, editing it, all the stuff, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to do.
But it's all part of the.
It's
all part of the bigger goal.
It is. Yeah. It is, and it's so necessary.
Necessary.
Of course, we don't want to, heavily, depend on it, but you need it. You're gonna go to your social media platform before you go to a website now. You're gonna go to a social media platform before you Google something.
It's a beautiful tool.
You're gonna use it as a search engine, and that's very, very important for businesses to understand. And if they don't have time to do it, that's where we step in. If they have a team, that they want to teach to do it, we also provide strategy sessions for folks who want to do the socials themselves, but just need that direction. So we like to offer those services, even event coverage. So if you have an event that you want somebody to get the social pictures so you can just host,
right?
We come and we get that stuff for you. So it's just providing a service so that folks can do what they do with ease without having to worry about getting the things for the social media. Because you do need the things for the social media.
Yes. You
need those pieces. You need to promote your business that way. You need to show folks what it looked like, when it happened so they can come to the next one. It's those things are just really important and pivotal. But that's in legacy. And we absolutely love being of service to small businesses. We have a conference coming up. The Digital Impact Conference is on April 5th. It's from 9 to 4, and we have a slew of speakers coming to talk about different aspects of digital media. So we have Chris Miles coming. He's talking about the art of memes and faceless content. He's the founder of Critics of Culture. I don't know if you know that Instagram page, but he has a major following. He's done work with Charlamagne the God, has done some work with Carl Jones, the producer of Boondocks.
Mm-hmm.
He's big time. It's funny because he's so low key. He's so low key, but so informative, so motivational. Just a real good guy. He's coming to do a workshop.
Okay.
We also have Alicia C. of Brave Intangibles. She is a super dope girl. She does PR stuff. She does website development, all that other cool stuff that we need, in that digital space as well. She's coming to talk about the future of authenticity. What's happening? How are we growing in this space with all this new technology? How do we stay true to ourselves and put that, in our media so that we can attract the right community?
Okay.
And then we have Miss Shakita Lee, who I'm so excited about. She's coming and she's talking about social media and AI. How are we growing in this relationship with AI? How are we using this tool, so that we don't lose the art of that personality, on social media. That's what she's going to be talking about. And then of course, in Legacy, Marquis and I will be there talking about taking a deep dive into strategy and social media, and how to use it appropriately to get your message across. So this conference is ideal for folks in the digital space, not just social media managers, but content creators, people who are in any type of media. This is for all those folks to come and just get this knowledge. It's all day. We're also going to have exhibitors, which I'm excited about. We'll have some exhibitors displaying their technology, their platforms, their softwares, things like that are helpful tools for us people in the digital space. And we also have a podcast panel that y'all got to come to. We got some podcasters who are going to be there talking about, how they got started in the podcast space, encouraging words for folks who want to get into podcasting, and how it has evolved, from being more audio to now video, and things like that. So that's a podcast panel that we'll have in the middle of our workshops. So you get a chock full of information.
Very powerful day.
It's going to be a powerful day,
Powerful.
And we've been talking about a conference for since we started for 3 years,
Now it's time.
Now it's time, because we've done workshops, throughout, but, we wanted to really get all of these dope content creators and social media managers and teams in one space. One, we network with each other, so we don't have to move by ourselves in this space. We network with each other. We learn from each other. We take it back to our business or our place of employment so we can continue to elevate. And so the conference is going to be dope. The tickets are on Eventbrite. You can search the Digital Impact Conference. And you can follow NM Legacy on Instagram at NM Legacy with an I marketing. And the link is in the bio as well to get tickets. Early bird tickets end on March 16th.
Gotcha. Well, you did just tell us your Instagram, but where else can they find you?
So you can follow the market at RVA Black Farmers Market, just like that. RVA Black, not BLK, but BLACK Farmers Market on Instagram and Facebook and Threads and all that other stuff, and TikTok. We don't post a whole lot on the TikTok, only because it's just something I just haven't got to. We used to, but we're there. We're there. And also, I think that's it. And you can follow me personally at I Am Navy Music, Navy with an I, also with an I, music. And that's how you can get a hold of me and see some things that I got coming down the pipe in the next couple.
Did you want to touch on that?
Yeah, why not? So I've honestly been doing music all my life.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing music all of my life. That was like the first thing that I ever did. I started playing piano at 5. I used to write songs. and poems all day. That was the thing that I did. And I took a little break. I used to, how when you're a kid and you like build singing groups and dance groups, with your
Yeah,
cousins.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I was doing. But not just with my cousins, also with girls at school, like building little singing groups. And I would write songs for my singing groups and all that jazz. But I was a good songwriter. Like I understood songwriting as a format
Mm-hmm.
without being taught.
Right.
So it was just one of those natural things, that I could do, and I could sing. So I was like, this is what I want to do. I remember telling my dad, I was like, I want to be a singer. And he was like, okay, we'll put you in voice lessons if you're serious. And I was like, all right. And so I never told my dad I was serious about it because I was too nervous to really put myself out there. And so at some point, I got over it. At some point, I got over the fear. And just started singing in school. So any opportunity I can sing. I couldn't sing in church, unfortunately, because I lived too far from my church. My parents weren't really religious people, so I didn't get the opportunity to sing in church like I wanted to. Mm-hmm. But any opportunity I could sing or perform in any way at school, I took it. Okay. So I was always in the talent show, always singing in an ensemble. I was auditioning for things. I wouldn't stop, even though I couldn't do it in the way I wanted to.
Right.
And then I went from classical piano to jazz when I was a teenager, about 15. I started playing jazz. And that's a lot of my life. Like I grew up listening to jazz. Like that's what my dad listened to in the car. I have a choice, but that shaped me, as a musician and as an artist.
Right.
So a lot of my sound, even though I love classic hip hop, a lot of my sound is very much spoken wordy, a little aggressive, and I like the juxtaposition because I have a soft voice. Mm-hmm. So I like to say hard things. If that makes any sense. Like I like to really say the things, and I've been through like a lot in life, that comes out in the way that I write.
Right.
I'm a direct person, when I write. I don't, it might come out flowery in song, but it's still really punchy,
right.
And so I got back into music because I stopped playing piano when I went to college. Mm-hmm. Not on some I don't want to play anymore, but I just got into a new phase of life. I was an undergrad, so I just didn't practice as much.
Right.
And then along the way, I kept meeting other people, who were still in music. And so like it didn't really leave me. It didn't leave me too much. Even though I left it, it didn't leave me.
Right.
It was still something that I very much had around me, right. In my peers, and things like that. And so one day, years ago, after a terrible, terrible breakup, I was writing a book at the time that I wanted to put out. And I was writing it on a laptop that didn't belong to me. And after me and this guy, broke up, he took his laptop back, and I was talking to a friend of mine, or old friend of mine, and I was upset about that piece of work being gone, because once you write something, and you're into it, you don't want to lose that kind of stuff, And so I was really distraught about losing that work. And he looked at me, he said, "You got a pen and paper?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, write it again. Like don't give up, just do it again." And so I really thought about that. Like I took that to heart. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
You good.
I took that to heart, and I was like, but I don't want to write that whole thing by hand. like, that ain't what I want to do. I'm gonna go back to writing music. And so probably about 2017, 2018, I started writing music again. Okay. And I met a friend on Instagram. This goes back to my social media savvy. So I use hashtags to find people. Mm-hmm. People don't realize that. Like hashtags are not just cute little parsley flakes that you put on, the end of your caption. Man. You use them, to search for things.
Yes.
And so I was just looking for producers in the city, engineers in the city. So I used the hashtag, and of course I put RVA in there somewhere. And I found this lovely person named Ken Johnson. And Ken, I didn't know this, but we had mutual friends. He went to VSU. Shout out to VSU. That's where I go, undergrad and grad school. But he went there. And so we found out we had some friends in common. I reached out to him because I just wanted to work with somebody local.
Right.
And we met and became fast friends. You know, he was one of the first people who helped me build my confidence getting back into music. And we worked on the whole project together. And we had a showcase like maybe a couple months after I started recording some music.
Okay.
And after that showcase, he suddenly passed away, like right after. And I was distraught. Like I was so distraught, you know. And well, one, you know, because being so young, especially at the time, you know, is I'm not gonna say it's uncommon for people to pass away so young, but I hadn't really experienced grief at that level before, you know, like losing someone so close to
Right.
me, you know, and who believed in me so much.
Right.
And so I lost music that we had done because it was on a hard drive that I didn't have access to. But I gained also so much after that. I gained a whole new family because me and his brother are really, really close. You know, he's provided me some opportunities to perform, you know, things like that. So my momentum didn't stop,
Right.
you know, and a lot of times, you know, I call Kim my angel, you know, now. Like he's definitely my angel. And I took a pause from music up until recently. And the pause just came from one, me having a kid, you know, because I was on the streak like right before I had my son, like music videos, like consistently, you know, very, very much active in it. And then, you know, starting the market, being a mom, doing legacy, all of those things just kind of moved a little bit further to the front. But I didn't want to lose myself either, you know, which is why music is still so important to me because that's me, you know, that's my thing, you know, that's what I wanted to do since a kid, you know. So it's like I didn't want to lose that part of me. And so the last single I put out was Over in 2022. Over went up. Over was on the radio on 106.5. Like Over still getting streams to this day. Like, and it's funny because that song, this goes back to just authenticity, right? And being true to yourself. I write music based on how I want to feel. And then I put it out there because I know somebody's going to want to feel the same. So for Over, for example, again, I had my son. This is like a year after he was born. You know, I'm still going through postpartum. I'm still trying to figure out, you know, who I am as a mother, still trying to balance my life, you know, in the gym, you know, trying to, you know, maintain my body, you know, get my body back together because, you know, I just had this baby. And I wanted a workout song. I was like, I want a song that I can go in the gym and I listen to and I feel good.
Once I say it's your feelings, get the bag, cause that's the mission. Get this body nice and chiseled, then it's over for you. Over. Once I get up out my mental, drink my water, clear my skin to keep your out my business, then it's over for you. Over for you. I've been on my big bash, just getting my life. I've been grinding like somebody got my back against a knife. Swear it's always somebody waiting for you to fall. Stick your in the air and tell them to kiss it all, then twerk some. Then praise God for balance.